Hello America, my name is Dusty Smith and I would like to announce my candidacy for the presidency of the United States. As President of the United States, my very first act will be to end the tax-exempt status for all religious organizations. On a purely intellectual level, I feel that giving a religious organization tax-exempt status is the most retarded mental fuckery the mind could ever possibly imagine. I mean, for starters, under the current system, the US government gets to decide what is a religion and what is not a religion. And then, those special few chosen religions, they're subsidized by giving them tax-exempt status, which is basically the equivalent of government welfare. I mean, let's be honest about here. Let's be honest what this is. The churches still get full access to schools and roads and government buildings and a fully functional government. You know, all those little niceties that us taxpayers have to pay for? They get all that shit absolutely free. They don't have to put any money into the pot whatsoever. So no matter how you spend this is government welfare. This is socialized religion. And it gives the religious organizations an incredibly unfair advantage in the marketplace of ideas. And let me give you a great example of what I mean. Let's say I wanted to start a humanist organization. Now the entire goal of my humanist organization is just to spread my memes about how you should be good to people, how you should be moral to people, you know, how we should be nice to each other. You know, for me, spreading these memes makes me feel spiritual, you know, it makes me feel like I'm doing something good for the universe. It makes me feel like I'm making the world a better place. And now let's say my neighbor across the street wants to start a Christian church. He wants to spread the word about Jesus Christ and about how if you don't worship him, you'll be tortured forever and ever and ever. Now immediately, my neighbor has an incredible advantage over me. He has an incredible advantage of spreading his memes over me, because his ideas are subsidized and tax-free by the government while mine aren't. So while I have to pay a myriad of taxes just to spread my message, my neighbor can spread his message completely tax-free, and he can easily outspend me because he's not paying taxes. He can easily spend more money than I can, and he can easily spread his message much easier than I can. Essentially, with this current system, those who believe in specific, established, government-approved bullshit will always have an advantage over us who don't believe in any bullshit at all. I mean, think about it, folks. Seriously, just think about it for a second. Do we really want a system that rewards people for believing in bullshit and punishes people for not believing in bullshit? I mean, maybe it's just me, but to me, that's bullshit. But look, I don't just oppose giving religious organizations tax-exempt status just for those reasons. I also oppose it on constitutional grounds. I mean, look it up. The very first amendment to the Constitution has the Establishment Clause in it, and the Establishment Clause very clearly says that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. I mean, it says that very clearly. The Establishment Clause was created to ensure the government did not show any special preferential treatment to any religious dogma. But that is exactly what is going on here. By the government saying that certain religious dogmas are real religions and certain religious dogmas are not real religions, and then rewarding the ones that they deem to be real by giving them tax-exempt status. The government is very clearly promoting and rewarding one set of religious dogma over the other. The Constitution directly forbids them from doing this. But they're doing it anyway. You know what I want to know? I want to know where the fuck Ron Paul's at. I want to know where the Tea Party's at, you know? There's absolutely no more egregious and obvious violation of the Constitution than this. The government is obviously and unconstitutionally helping one group of people spread their memes by providing them with government welfare, while making it more difficult for those of us who refuse to believe in any kind of bullshit to spread our memes. But this retarded American insanity doesn't end there. The reality is, if you have enough money for lawyers, then you too can get the government to subsidize the spreading of your ridiculous batshit fairy tale dogmas. I mean, let's just look at Scientology. After years and years of legal wrangling and a mountain of money spent, Scientology is now a tax-exempt religious organization. And I'm sure all the money they spent to buy that tax-exempt status for themselves is really well worth the money, because now, from now on to the end of time, they will be tax-exempt. And us stupid, gullible, ignorant taxpayers will be subsidizing their spreading of this bullshit dogma. Meanwhile, they're getting rich spreading this bullshit to ignorant dupes. You know, sometimes I hate being an American taxpayer. Sometimes I feel like the biggest fucking idiot in the world. How fucking moronic do you have to be to subsidize this bullshit? But the truth is, I don't just oppose tax-exempt status for a religious organization just on moral grounds. And I don't oppose it just on constitutional grounds either. No, the main reason that I really oppose this is on logical grounds. From a logical standpoint, it does not make any fucking sense at all to give religious organizations tax-exempt status. I mean, if they really are preaching the word of the living God, why would they need a handout from the government? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, if they actually were doing God's will, wouldn't God provide more money than they could ever need? Is God all-powerful or not? I mean, wouldn't He provide so much money for them that they could afford to pay triple the taxes? Quadruple the taxes? If He's all-powerful, then it wouldn't matter how much we tax them. They would always have an overflowing bounty of money no matter what. It seems to me like these are the very people we should be taxing. These are the people that God is providing the money for. We can tax them 10 times as much as other organizations, and God will always provide. Right? The very fact that churches even want tax-exempt status to begin with seems like a slap in the face to God to me. I mean, basically what they're saying is, well, God's really not providing enough for us, so we need the government to subsidize us. It makes absolutely no sense for these people to claim that their God is all-powerful and He loves them, but at the same time, they need a break on their taxes. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. If you watch their actions instead of listening to their words, it's almost like they doubt God exists at all. So from a logical standpoint, I find this insulting to my fucking intelligence, and if you agree, elect me president, and I promise my first act will be to kick this directly square right in the balls. I will end this government welfare to these religious organizations forever. I'm Dusty Smith, and I approve this message. Isn't it time we put a little logic into the White House?
Dusty Smith, change that will actually happen.